Hey.
Okay, that came out weird. Let's try that again. Hi, I'm Khalees.
Hey, I'm Justin.
From A Little Bit of Personality. We meant to make this, if you're wondering
Look,
why
Halloween
I have my hair.
costumes.
Yeah, Halloween costumes. Yeah, if you're wondering why I have pom-poms in my hair, this is a video we've been meaning to make since Halloween, and then our car broke down, our phone broke, and our plumbing broke all in like a week. And
on top of lots of other stuff, too.
And, yeah, on top of lots of other stuff. And so...
It happens.
Yeah, and the car's still not fixed. It's been 3 weeks.
It's in the shop today, still. But
yeah,
hopefully it'll be out today.
We're hoping it'll be out today. But so... We meant to do a Halloween costume video around Halloween, and so today, through the magic of time travel, we're going to end up traveling back to Halloween.
It's the spirit of Halloween. You can do time travel.
The spirit of Halloween will carry us back to Halloween. All right, so we ready? Magic. Transition.
That was a transition.
We could add one. Oh, okay.
I'm back from time travel. What do you do?
My time travel works in my chair. It's a
Okay.
magical chair. So today your video is hosted by Vanellope von Schweetz.
Brought to you by the past.
And the past. Vanellope von Schweetz from Wreck-It Ralph and Malcolm Reynolds.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you can say
No,
it.
go for it.
Malcolm Reynolds from the wonderful show Firefly. Today, first of all, we're going to be shooting 2 videos today, and one we're going to be posting today, and I'm not sure when we're going to be posting the other one, but hopefully in the next couple days. Sorry. Okay, yes, Halloween. Aren't you glad it's Halloween? And
yes.
Aren't you glad that our car's working and I bet it's not going to get cold in the next few weeks.
Yeah,
I bet
that
it's
would
going to be
weird.
balmy.
It shouldn't get ridiculously,
it's not going to snow in
stupidly
Buffalo.
cold.
What's up with that?
Yeah.
Never snows in Buffalo. Okay, so our question today is... someone asked after the post Optimism, Pessimism, and what we do about it, which I'll probably link somewhere, how can we talk about letter combinations like E, T, and all these different ones? How can we talk about them? SP, whatever. How can we talk about them if it's not just like the first and last letters or the middle letters? You know, that people are more used to, whatchamacallit, us putting together. And they wondered, they were like, oh, well, does that even have, does that even have to do with the cognitive functions? It's like, okay, well, yes, they all have to do with cognitive functions. Yeah. But, okay, so how we can talk about 2 letters in combination like that. So the thing is, when you go back to the definitions of the letters, for example...
They're all about cognition, so any combination
yeah,
would just
seriously.
be more
then
cool
you just,
stuff about cognition.
You combine them and you watch the results, what happens. Yeah. And so, like, what is the definition of E? Definition of E is a person, an extrovert, is a person who looks outside themselves for information first. That is the definition of an extrovert. That leads to, you watch either the actions or the motivations, depending if it's EJ or EP, of people to get information. And so that, ends up having effects, like you end up caring a lot about particular people and thinking a lot about particular people and what they think. Whereas introverts think more theoretically about people.
Because we process information in our head.
Yeah, because they're always in their... not always... They're...
Hopefully we're not in our own heads.
That came out wrong.
No, but we process information inside our own heads. We take it in and then work on it in there and then decide what we're going to do.
Well, because...
Whereas experts ping stuff off on the outside world so naturally...
Yeah, so instead of introverts, rather than thinking about particular people and what particular people are doing, introverts are thinking about how the world works.
Yeah,
whether
extroverts
it's
looking outwardly...
principles of how the whole world works,
yeah.
or details of how... specific information works.
Situations
yeah. And data works. And so anyway, so like ETs, and well, both EETs and EFs will be focused more on what people will how will people react to the things they do.
Because they're more extroverted about whether it be T or F. And
there's some confusion over this sometimes because there's some ETs that are like, I don't care what people think of me. But it's so funny because so often it'll be like, I don't care what people think of me. Does that guy know that I don't care what he thinks of me? He better know that I don't care what he thinks of me, And so So what causes that?
This
What
extroverted,
causes-
because it's extroverted, it's so much focused on people outside
Particular
of you.
people.
Okay, doesn't mean socially extroverted.
Not
just
not people in
informationally
theory,
extroverted.
but that guy, Larry.
Yeah,
whatever
well,
his name is.
we kind of breeze past that really quick.
Yeah, I'm
the
sorry.
extroverts are going to focus on specific, particular people. For
Yes.
instance, you talk about this some in the is it Optimism is Pessimism post, the particular versus theoretical people.
No, that was in type specializations, which
Oh, okay,
we'll link also.
So, yes. So, if an extrovert is thinking of a situation or a concept, they're going to be thinking of how does Larry, or how does my friend Bob, or whatever.
How does Justin?
Yeah. How does this situation, or this experience, this concept apply to them? Whereas an introvert, does that make sense with extroverts? Because extroverts are constantly looking out at other people around them,
Watching it.
Whereas
How's
introvert,
that going to react?
you take it all in.
To this?
Yeah, you take it all in, and it's like a laboratory inside your head, whether you're an IP or an IJ.
If a person did this, then what would happen? You know?
Exactly. So it becomes a person, a theoretical person. It's not about specific people so much because you're not looking extrovertedly out as much.
Yeah.
So that's
Well, and obviously, as always, both do both. It's which one do you do first? Do you naturally think about first?
Yes. So some people are often like, well, I do all of those. Good. Healthfully,
Yeah.
you should.
Yeah.
Which one do you do first? Which one do you do primarily?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was
never thought, but I
going
think I
through
forgot
again
now.
the particular people versus theoretically well. Introverts do more theoretical. So you're talking about ETs being like, does that guy know that I don't care what he thinks of me? I got to make sure he knows. So an extroverted, you were saying ETs do that more.
Well, because EFs, being about the meaning of people versus the use of people, T versus F, or F versus T, the way I said it. But Fs are more likely, like, EFs tend to be very much like they want to be one with the particular people that they're with. They'll want to be very much, whether it's EFJ wanting to be everybody be on the same team, bring everybody together, or EFP wanting individuals because P is
therefore
individual.
Extroverted feelers looking outwardly at the meaning of things and people, especially, often behave a little more stereotypically F. Well, people would stereotypically
or
expect F to
stereotypically
be.
E sometimes.
Yeah. Whereas then
okay.
the flip side, ITs often behave more stereotypically T.
Yeah.
Even though it's not really what T
That's
is,
true.
but the stereotype version of T, I guess ITs get a little closer to behaving that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's more true of T and F. I think I kind of misspoke saying that EFs would be more stereotypically E. That's sometimes the case, but there's a lot of EFPs especially who often think, when they think the definition of E and I is...
yeah, they think they're introverted.
Social?
EFPs are more often socially introverted, which is a behavioral thing that...
Of the EFs.
Of the EFs, yeah. We're going through. We're
Yeah.
doing drive-bys. We're hitting all these little examples very quickly.
We can do all these different combinations by looking at, okay, what is the definition of this letter and what is the definition of this letter, and when you put them together, what effect does it have when you see people in
We just threw
real
out a
life?
three-letter combination, EFP.
Yeah.
EFPs tend to do this. And all of the 16 types are four-letter combinations.
Yeah.
ENFPs tend to do this thing,
Yeah.
And so, so you can do letters by themselves. E's tend to do this, one-letter combination, ETs, ENTs, ENTPs, And so because all letters are about cognition, you can combine them any which way, and it's really cool seeing what happens. What is the pattern between all IFJs, What is the pattern between all E whatever,
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when you have people typed correctly, then, so often things that you wouldn't think in your head about, oh, they would do this or that, you can watch and see. And then when you see patterns, you can go back to the letters and say, okay, why do they do that? Why is this the way that all the such and such I've known, or a lot of the such, why do a lot of ITs do this, although it's not necessarily all of them, things like that.
Yes.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, should I talk about the two-off principle?
Yeah, so we hit that well enough, right? So, of course, you can talk about combination of letters aren't the middle two or the last two. You can talk about any combination of letters. It's all about cognition.
All interact.
And it's all very cool seeing all the different patterns that come from them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but the two-off principle, this is something I've been wanting to share for months now. And
I'm sure we'll go into it more later.
Yeah, I'm just briefly talking about it today because it's really, really awesome and something started... I mean, like, I'd kind of noticed it and then really noticed it the last several months, and I've been dying to talk about it. But that so often, we call it two-off principle because it's when you're two letters different from someone rather than one or three or four.
Yeah.
It'll often be... Two-off will often be more similar in overall effect than one.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, for example, I often feel more similar in overall effect to... ISTP,
You're going to name all the two-offs of ENTP?
More similar to ISTP than INTP. More similar to ESFP, then either ESTP or ENFP.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all these different ones. More similar to ENFJ than ENTJ.
I can kind of identify with a lot of ISTJs a little more easy than ISFJs, although I love
yeah, so the thing is, we love all the types,
yeah.
but saying
in
an overall
you seem a little
effect,
more similar with someone who's 2 different from you instead of 1 different from you.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, because I'm like halfway through this massive post that I don't think is even going to be one of the sooner ones I post, but anyway, that ends up going into this, but that when you change one letter, often it changes the balance of things so much, but then when you change a different letter,
INFJ to INFP,
it changes the balance back.
Which is funny because those two are always mixed up.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, I'm going to go into this point at some point too, but I think the one letter that makes the biggest difference tends to be the last one. Not always, but
INFJ versus ENFJ, that makes a big difference. But say INFJ versus ESFJ, 2 off. Change 2 letters instead of 1, and they seem to see things eye to eye a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny how it works, but then we see it everywhere. And I mean, even as we've been doing facial typing more, it's funny how 2-offs will end up having some similarities that way too. And
the thing is, any 2 types you can put together and they'll have unique relationships. That's the thing.
Yeah,
just like
cool.
you can put any 2 combination letters together and have unique relationships. For instance, we talked about Paradoxitype. And Paradoxitype is such a cool thing because it's very useful for people recognizing, look, this is the you that's
deeper, the hidden you.
The hidden you that comes out either when you're feeling
the other
upset
side of you,
and you don't want it to come out, or when you're feeling comfortable and it comes out. And so often getting more in touch with that Paradoxitype helps everything go so much better. Should I mention the thing about writing Sarah Han real quick? How I was writing a fictional character, and I was having trouble with this scene. I love this character, but he just kept coming off one-dimensional and flat. And I was like, well, let me write him as if he's his Paradoxitype, and boom, he popped. He became 3-dimensional all at once. I was like, there we go. And so now he's being able to be him. The same is true of people in real life. When we get in touch with our Paradoxitype, so often we become the person who we kind of secretly thought we were, and that becomes what everyone else sees so much more.
More complex.
So
all these different results you wouldn't have seen. Exactly.
The Paradoxitype's great, and so that's why it's good for us to focus on. But the thing is, any 2 types, so Paradoxitype, INFJ, and ENTP, that's one relationship between 2 types. But then we have various other relationships we want to talk about, like the cover type, or all the other ones where you have any 2 types together will have a unique relationship. So
not all of which we have names for yet, but
it'll be cool to focus on them bit by bit.
Yeah. Well, totally random thing, but I thought it's funny we're both dressed as ENTPs because I was my type and he's dressed as his Paradoxitype. But
Mal's
anyway,
awesome.
Because Mal is awesome.
Yeah.
But was that most of what we wanted to cover in this video? That's good for the first video. Okay, well, stay tuned because I wanted to cover this for the next video. Yeah, so we love you guys. Talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye. Oh, and thank you for being patient with car troubles and phone troubles and everything.
Yes, thanks so much. Thanks for waiting and thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.